Good morning and thanks so much for joining in. You're watching NDTV Profit and this is Ask Profit. My name is Alex Mathew. Let's take you through what's happening with the markets before we get to the queries that you have for us. And you've seen quite a bit of a drop in the last hour or so of trade, and you can see that a falling pattern on the screen intraday, of course, and you see the high point of the day early on in the session where you hit fresh life highs for the benchmark Nifty 50. At this juncture, we're trading at very close to the low point of the day, about 0.5% lower. In fact, let's also pull up the broader market gauges and you see that those two are also down about 0.33% at this point. You have the mid-cap index on the screen right now, but you also have the small-cap index that's losing about 0.33% or so. And so, understandably, the market breadth is tilted in favor of the declines at this juncture. In fact, let's look at some of the key contributors on the Nifty 50. And you will notice that a couple of the big names are pulling the benchmark lower. Right on the top of the declines, you see Reliance Industries as well as HDFC Bank that are contributing to most of the declines at this point. You also have Larsen & Toubro and TCS that are underperforming. At one point, you had the Bajaj twins that were doing particularly well in trade today. Bajaj Finance as well as Bajaj Finserv. Bajaj Finance, in fact, gaining at one point close to 7%, but it's now up just about 2.5% or 2.7%. In fact, let's pull up that intraday chart and see where it's currently trading. 2.7% or thereabouts is where Bajaj Finance is. And, let's talk about that stock in more detail. But before we do, I want to go across to the technical expert that we have today, Rajat Bose, independent research analyst, is joining me on the show. Rajat, what do you make of this recent drop? Recent, I say, and by recent, I'm talking about the last hour or so. We've seen quite a precipitous fall. What do you make of the change in the market breadth?
Well, what I would say is that, in my reckoning, 22,734 was the projected Fibonacci resistance levels. And we have seen that today, as well as two trading sessions back, we have seen 783 high and today 794 high, 22,794 I mean. So these two highs are only 10 points from each other. And unless you take out 22,734. That day also it couldn't, and today also it couldn't. So it is showing weakness. But one heartening thing is that now it has come very close to 20-day moving average as well as the 9-day moving average, which is 9-day is at 22,507 and 20-day moving average is at 22,455. So this 50-point range is actually a very crucial support zone. Unless it is taken out on the downside, the Nifty in late session might again show a surge. But whether it would cross, if you ask me if it would cross the 22,794, I have doubts, because this is a very critical resistance level. It is unlikely to be taken out in this manner. It has to be, it would start from below and then during the day 22,800 is taken out, then only we could have said that yes, this could be a real breakout. And other thing is that there was a huge support from Bank Nifty on earlier occasions, but today already it has come down by 350 points. Even the Nifty Junior, that is also 305 points down. So there is some amount of profit taking and people are a bit apprehensive. So while I do not expect it to fall below 22,450, at the same time, I don't even expect it to go beyond 22,800.
Okay, fair point. 22,800 is what you should watch out for in terms of levels. Of course, the Nifty 50 trading just above that 22,500 mark at this point, and again at the low point of the day. Let's talk about Bajaj Finance, because this is, according to me, one of the stocks of the day, despite the fact that is currently now significantly off the high point of the day, now up about 2.75% or thereabouts. Harsh is joining in to tell you about the implications of the regulatory update that we saw earlier today. The notification, of course, is that those consumer loans that were stopped, Harsh, are now restarted. What are the implications?
The implication, Alex, and we've been saying this since the morning, is not massive. In terms of AUM growth, what we are hearing from analysts as well as Citi putting out its note is that the growth number will just go to the upper band of the guidance. So 26 to 28% was the guidance. The fact that this has come in at the front end of the financial year will mean that growth will be more even through the year, and therefore you will get a slightly higher growth number, just about 2% for this year. So maybe a 28% kind of a number AUM wise. But really the significant positive here is the fact that Bajaj Finance has been able to resolve these RBI issues in a span of 5 months. When I'm looking at all past precedents, HDFC Bank, Paytm may be an outlier, but HDFC Bank, Diners Club, MasterCard, they've all taken anything between 6 to maybe even 15 months to resolve their issues with the regulator. This 5-month kind of a shrunk timeline is a first off, and that is the key positive. Of course, the other one being the sentiment positive on Bajaj Finance. The stock had taken a bit of a beating as well, probably the sentiment turning positive. So those two possibly the key factors here. In terms of impact on your PNL, the Q4 numbers, profit before tax was impacted by 4% as a result of this particular embargo.
All right.
So maybe that will expand by 4% for the first 2 or 3 quarters, which may not have been anticipated by analysts.
Fair point. All right, Harsh, thanks so much for breaking that down for us. In fact, we've also got Ashish Kapoor, Chief Executive Officer of Invest Shop, joining in. Ashish, quick view on Bajaj Finance. What did you make of it? Of course, it's off the high point of the day today. Ashish, if you can hear me, what do you make of Bajaj Finance? It's off the high point of the day, but significant development? Okay, we seem to be having a bit of an issue with Ashish Kapoor's line, and we will go back to him as and when we get to fix that. In the meanwhile, let me take a few questions that have come through, and we've got the first one coming in from Shabir, and he's asking about Adani Green, which he is wondering whether to get into at the current level for short or medium term. I'll come to you, Rajat, on the charts. What do you make of it?
Regarding Adani Green, I would say that it is actually showing a bit of a distribution pattern. When I say distribution pattern, that means there had been a rise earlier, say last year, last 2 months, it showed a rally from a lower levels of around, say, 1,000 rupees. From there had been a phenomenal rally. But now the moving averages are all moving down except the 200-day exponential moving average, which is currently below 1,600. Say it is at 1,533. So either you would see a sideways kind of a movement where it will oscillate between 1,700 and 1,850. Or if it were to fall below 1,700, then it can even test the 1,600 mark, because 1,600 mark to about 1,533, the 200 exponential moving average level, would act as a major support area. However, for long-term investors, I don't see any cause for real concern.
All right. Ashish, if you can hear me, we were trying to get a quick view on Bajaj Finance. It was the focus of the conversation at the start of the show. What do you make of it? Would you suggest a fresh entry at this point?
No, I don't think so. I think there is a significant change in the business environment when it comes to Bajaj Finance. Earlier, they were the clear leaders and they were able to maintain their margins, maintain their volume growth, maintain their dominant presence quite easily. They are being challenged, and the main issue is the very grandiose plans made by Jio Financial. And given the kind of financial muscle and the kind of execution background they are coming from, that does raise a lot of concern, and that is a very serious concern. And considering that the valuation of Bajaj Finance is very high, I don't think you're going to get any movement here. At best, it could be sideways for some more time, and difficult to guess for how much more time. So frankly speaking, I think yes, it's a great stock. If you bought it at lower levels over the years, keep holding on. don't exit, but I don't think it's a good idea to enter at this stage.
All right. I forgot to mention, we spoke about Adani Green just a short while back. A standard disclaimer here. This is NDTV Profit, part of the NDTV Group, which is owned by the Adani Group. The next company that we're talking about is Lloyd's Engineering Works. This is a question coming from Nagaraj, and he's writing it from Bengaluru. Rajat, this is based on the charts. He's holding 2,000. I'm not too sure about the buy price. It's down about 7% or thereabouts. It appears a little iffy. So he's talking about acquiring it at 2 rupees. I do not see when the stock hit this level. What would you say about the charts right now?
It is actually on an uptrend, and it is continuously moving up for several months. I would say it has begun its journey much earlier. Throughout the last year and also this year, this is going up. And again, it has posted a new high. I would say that on dips, one should buy. And I would prefer to buy this, say, between 55 and 60. This stock is going to go places, in my view, because this kind of a sustained uptrend means that there is definitely positive fundamentals that are going to emerge from this. So one can continue as well as buy on dips. Any fresh entrant can buy at current levels, even on dips, and put a stop loss below the 200 exponential moving average, which is at 45. But I would say that put your stop loss at 43.
43, all right. It's a stock that Rajat seems to have high conviction on. Ganesh Prasad is asking the next question. Patel Engineering is a counter that he wants to focus on. Ashish, any coverage on this one?
No, I haven't tracked it for a while, so I don't.
All right, fair point. Rajat, any view on Patel Engineering? He's not specified what time frame he is talking about, so maybe give us a generic view.
Patel Engineering, grapevine has it that it is turning around, but I would say that if somebody is planning to buy into this stock, should keep a stop loss below 45 again. And it needs to take out the range between 70 and 80 because lots of supply are likely to come. Unless you are very keen on buying this at these levels, you better wait for, say, levels around 49, 48. Those kind of levels would be much better. Because this stock, if it were to fall below the 200-day moving average now, it can go sharply down. That's the problem that I see on the chart.
All right. Allied Digital is the next counter that we're focusing on, and it's currently trading at 144 thereabouts. And this is a question coming from Satya. He's asking what the specific view on the basis of fundamentals is on this particular counter, and if not, in the space that it plays in. Ashish, what's the view?
Again, I haven't really tracked it, but if the question is on the digital space, yes, one is very bullish, of course, and I think the entire AI and IoT and all will do very well. There are plenty of ways of playing it. One can play it through one of the listed companies, and I think in that you have a number of options, including data and analytic companies and many other ways. But in particular, Allied Digital, I haven't tracked.
Okay. If you were to enter into this, if that is your recommendation, Rajat, what level should you watch out for?
Now the 200-day exponential moving average is around the current levels, very close to the current levels. It is around 137 and currently it is at 145. So you can enter because this stock has a tendency to move up sharply and then it comes back, it comes down over a period of 2 to 3 months. That phase is already over. And there are certain signals on the chart that it might actually move up. So put a stop loss below, say, 130 and go long. Once it crosses 160, you can add more.
All right, fair point. That's a view on Allied Digital. We have to slip into a very quick break. We've got more on the other side, so do stay tuned. Welcome back. You're watching Ask Profit on NDTV Profit. I was looking at the screen, and in fact, the Nifty 50 is trading below the 22,500 mark. Remember, the high point of the day was very close to that 22,800 mark. So it's quite a precipitous fall from the high point. And also at the bottom of your screen, you'll see an update. Shriram Properties has acquired a 4-acre land parcel in Bengaluru, and the stock is up and about on account of that, I would think, because it has gained from the low point of the day. Let's take the next question. It's on Bandhan Bank, and in fact, we've got a Benami question, if I can call it that. I would encourage you to tell us your name and where you're tuning in from, because that helps us identify you. This particular question is, I would think, a short-term question, because the buy price is 477, holding from 2020, and asking whether in the short term it has any possibility of crossing 250. Rajat, on the charts, what levels would you watch out for?
So it is Bandhan Bank, right?
That's right.
See, Bandhan Bank is currently around, say, 188, if I'm not mistaken. And Bandhan Bank is not showing any major recovery signs. For that to happen, it needs to take out 215, 220 level, because the 200 exponential moving average, which is moving down in a gradual manner, and other moving averages, except for short-term moving averages, they have turned around, and probably there would be a minor bounce, but one should not be expecting much of it, and one should use a very close stop loss if one is getting into this.
Fair point. Next question is from Nalini. Nalini is writing in from Patiala and asking about Biocon, whether it can be bought for the next 2 years. Ashish, what's the view on this one?
See, Biocon seems to be doing well after a long time. I think this is a stock where you could bet for the near term. And I think, yes, it's a good idea to buy at the current level. So it has moved up a bit, but I think still it seems to be pretty good to enter. And this could possibly be kind of a short term. I don't agree with the long term view. We've really not been able to create capital over the years. But yeah, for the near term, it looks to be a good, bet. We can say a short term investment or a trading bet. From here, maybe another 10-15% upside. Looks quite possible in the next couple of months.
Absolutely. And it's something that has gained quite significantly over the last 6 months or so. Let's talk about Ramesh's question. He's writing in from Chennai. He's holding Ratan Power. He's asking whether it's a good stock to hold from the long-term perspective. Ashish, any view on this one?
No, again, I haven't tracked this.
Okay, Ratan Power. Ratan India is what we're looking at, Rajat. And it is currently trading. Let's pull up the chart.
Repeat the script name.
Yes, we're talking about Ratan India. And it's currently trading, or Ratan India Power, it's currently trading below the 10 rupee mark. So effectively a penny stock.
I'm unable to give any suggestion, because I don't track, and I can't even find it right now.
That's fair. Would you very quickly give any advice on such trading bets, on such holdings? They don't always pay off, Rajat.
See, I would say that one should, basically this kind of stocks, these are penny stocks, and you don't know how the management is, and what is their return on capital. This kind of, if you get into this kind of stocks, sometimes they give very fast shooting up kind of movements, and you make money. But my experience over the last 30 years has been that if you get into this kind of a stock, out of 20, one will become a multi-bagger, 2 will give you some money, and 17 will actually disappoint you in a big way. So why get into this kind of stocks?
Yeah, and the 17 that disappoint, unfortunately, if a stock is trading at 9 rupees, and if it loses 2 rupees or 3 rupees or even 5 rupees, you've lost half of the value. Let's talk about the next one, Maharashtra Seamless. We've got a question from Rajiv asking about the fundamental view on this one. Ashish, do you have a view on this one?
Yeah, I think this is a good stock. It has historically done very well for investors, and I don't see any reason why that should change. I think this is a stock where you could look for buying opportunities on the way down. and I think that should give you good returns coming in the near future also.
All right. Ashoka Buildcon is the next counter that we're talking about. Rakesh has got this question. Borrowed levels of 161. Can it be held for the long term? He hasn't specified whether this is a fundamental query. So, Rajat, I'm going to go across to you on this one. Ashoka Buildcon, would you suggest holding on?
One can continue to hold on. That's not a problem because it has been rising and now it is into a sideways movement. And till such time it falls below, say, 145 or so, I don't think there would be a major problem. And currently it is at 173, but at these price, you don't buy it. You should be considering buying it between, say, 155 and 145 and put a stop loss below 140. That's fine. And only when it crosses 190 decisively, you will see the uptrend resuming. Currently, it is in a sideways trading, volatile kind of situation.
Okay. Gentlemen, last couple of minutes, so if we can run through quite a few of these queries quickly, maybe keep your answers short. Delivery is the next counter. Parth wants to know from the perspective of 1 to 2 years. Ashish, Ashish, what's the view?
I would think avoid. I think it's moved up also, and valuation is quite high.
Okay, the next counter is, well, hasn't named, Popular Vehicles. Okay, for the short term, I don't think you have enough, Rajat, on the data front, but would you suggest a fresh entry or holding on, Ashish, if you're holding on to this one?
Me? Or
yes,
Rajat?
Ashish, you.
Yeah, okay. Popular, again, you're right. It's a company is doing very well, has a very good hold in South Indian market on the sale of cars, especially Maruti. The stock is good. Again, valuation can be a bit of concern, but if you buy solely on declines, I think that should be a good idea, and you should make money in the future.
Okay, Alembic Limited is the next counter that we're talking about. And Rajat, this one's for you. I'm trying to pull up the chart. It's currently trading at 92 or thereabouts. And in fact, Vinod from Chennai is asking about the 6-month time frame. Should it be held on to?
One can hold on to it unless it falls below 87. Below 87, it would go below the 200 exponential moving average. The maximum stretchable stop loss would be 82. But as of now, I think the uptrend is already through and there was a pullback. The pullback could not take it to the highs of 104 or so. So if I were in the investor situation, I would have got out of it. And if I were to buy new, no, I am not buying right now. I would wait for lower levels.
Okay. Paul Selvaraj is asking about South Indian Bank and whether this is the right time to buy. Ashish, I'm sure there are many good options in the banking space. Is this one of them?
It can be one of them. I mean, it's much smaller than many other banks. And I would say that, depends again on what kind of investor you are. If you're looking at something which is a bit of a risk, bit of a long-term hold, but potentially could be giving you much better returns, then SIB is not a bad option. Otherwise, of course, the time-tested ones, your Axis and ICICIs and the other ones are, of course, always there. In the mid-cap space, there's also a Federal Bank and there's IDFC First, which I quite like.
Yeah.
But I think South Indian Bank could be a good option for somebody looking for a return more than normal with some kind of a risk and longer term holding pattern.
Okay, quick view on Zomato. Srivardhan Reddy is asking about this. Buy, sell or hold. So I would assume that this is a trading call. Rajat, what's the view?
First of all, there is a disclosure from my side that I personally hold Zomato in my long-term portfolio. At the moment, the uptrend is continuing and both the 9 and 20-day moving averages are also going up and they are supporting this upswing. So you can buy in the short term, you can buy for the long term, depending on your perspective, you can trade in this. It needs to take out 203, 204 to post higher highs.
Okay, fair point. Do we have time for one more question? All right. IFCI is the counter that we're talking about. The government of India, according to my viewer, has infused money into this particular counter. I am not aware of this. I must confess. Abhaya wants to know about this. Any view, gentlemen, on this? Ashish, I'll come to you on this one.
Well, I think this entire public sector, financial institutions, bank space has played out over a period of time now. I think too late to try and enter into one of them. One of the, let's say, one of the less tracked, less strong fundamentally stock now. I think it's too late in the rally. So I would give it an avoid.
Okay, fair point. We're completely out of time now on this particular edition of Ask Profit. Gentlemen, thank you so much for taking the time. And viewers, hopefully the conversations that we've had today has benefited you. We've got lots more lined up over the course of the day. And this is NDTV Profit.